as independent, and then over a 3-year period find out what happens. A very brief idea about the project is as follows. You remember that horse and cart carriage was the only means of transportation for 5, 6,000, 10,000 years. So horses, carriage, coachman. And you get into the back and you say, take me there. And then the coachman takes you off. Then the automobile comes along. The horses go. It looks as though everything is going to be fine, but something very unexpected happens. The coachman goes as well. Why? Because, strangely, the passengers insist on driving themselves. Whole of society restructures. Traffic lights, licensing authorities, policemen, all because we wanted to drive. And we are creative people. We invented things like drunken driving, overtaking from the wrong side, and so on and so forth. So the whole social structure had to change. But did we bring the coachman back? No, we never did. So, I know now you're sounding looking very serious, but, but these 7 schools in the cloud, I've built 7 of them. These 7 schools in the cloud are an attempt to see whether it's time in education to let the passengers take the wheel. And if so, where will they go? So, one second, I must explain to you. Oh gosh, where did they go off to? Middle, where is around?
Yes.
I just want to go back a step. Okay, I'll give you the context of that. Ted appointed a filmmaker called Jerry Rothwell to document this whole 3-year project of where these driverless vehicles will go. And he's in the middle of it. The project ends next year, 2016 November, and he made a trailer of the film because everybody said, tell us. So I wanted to just play you the trailer.
What is the future of learning? Schools as we know them now, they're obsolete. My wish is to build a facility where children go on intellectual adventures, driven by the big questions which the mediators put in. It will be called the school in the cloud. You make your own books. You can write them. You can look at other people's work. It's anything but a classroom day. Choreography may or may not be different from the schools of England, but that's what we are going to do. It's 7 minutes from 0 to the first game appearing on the screen. And I've seen that happen for the last 15 years everywhere in the world. So I don't think progress is going to be a problem. Occurs spontaneously, always happens at corresponding age of years. And that's what a soul is. You take some children, you bring them into an environment which allows them to be inspired, and then you wait for order to come. And along with order comes learning. The worst of the possibility is effective highway engineering to be a caution. The rest of the possibility is that if the assessment system is changed, you will find it's back down. It's not about making learning happen, it's about letting it happen.
So what I was trying to say in that last bit, the audio is a bit bad here, at the moment, parents in the really remote areas are not very happy. Because they say, what is this? A video game parlor. There's no teacher. How can learning happen without teachers? I don't want to send my child there. He should be at home doing his homework. Okay, so I have a problem there of parental perception. But what I was saying in the end was, if the examination system permits the use of the internet, those facilities are going to be full, because that's where you can learn. So, as I said in the beginning, that one decision, one administrative decision can drive that whole change downwards. So I tried to see what would happen if I take Souls and Granny Cloud and put them together into facilities. This is a little town in England, Illingworth. So just to show you the nature of the structure. So you take a room, any room in the school, make all the walls glass if possible. It's very important why. You'll notice that there are about 6 computers with big 32-inch screens. Why the glass? Because anybody can see what's on all of those screens. Remember, the children are going to be alone inside. So if they're going to be alone inside, if you have a screen which is turned towards a wall, and if you have adolescents, you'll have trouble. So every screen must be clearly visible, then you don't need any filters. The seating must be reconfigurable, because remember, you are not controlling the group size. Somebody might want a group of 7, somebody wants a group of 3. So the seating is reconfigurable. I put an Xbox on the wall. And even my best friends, the English school teachers, said, you know, this is too much. They are not going to do anything except play with the Xbox, because you've given them an Xbox and you've said, you can go into that room and do whatever you want. What do you think is going to happen? So I said that could it be possible that you, the teacher, are a little less interesting than an Xbox? Do you like going through life being less interesting than an Xbox? You know? So you know, I sort of went home and I asked my wife this question, and I said, you know, would you marry an Xbox? And she said, yeah, that's fast enough. So I then had a little game with one of these teachers. I said, okay, for once, can you make yourself more interesting than an Xbox? She took it on. You know, great, she took it on. Look at the next one. So there, the Xbox, and just one step back there. And there she is. She got them back, you know, just with one question, which was so absorbing. They all came back, but you can see her standing there biting her nails saying, when is it going to finish? So it is possible. It's possible to get them back. This is a government girls' school in Kalkaji in New Delhi. The girls are from very poor backgrounds, and they are basically daughters of household help, you know, maid servants and that sort of thing. So we built a school in the cloud for them, and the usual Granny Cloud, Souls, etc. I started doing video measurements of the girls to start with, and periodically after that. Just get me back to that. So I did all of that, and then when I was coming, I was going to bring, I wanted to show you one particular girl, but I didn't bring the before video. You know why? Because she just couldn't speak at all, and I felt that it's not ethically right to show her in that condition. I mean, who am I? I don't have the right to do that. But I am proud to show you what happened to her a year and a half later. So if the audio plays well, you'll be able to hear it. She's speaking in English, first of all, which she shouldn't have been doing, but she is.
Because sometimes the right people be made wrong, but I want to be the right people right. I will give them justice, so I want to be a lawyer.
that happened in a year and a half, and the quality of that English is getting there, very quickly. With what? With nothing, just themselves, the internet, the granny cloud. And the granny cloud, 1 hour a week. That's what created that sort of a difference. This is a village, a small town in England called Newton Aycliffe, and the lady over there is from South America actually, and I think she talks to them in Spanish. It's an internal view. What those guys did was, their school is at the ground level. They changed one of the walls, two of the walls into glass, parallel walls. On the other side is a big lawn, green, English countryside. And inside they put AstroTurf. And they put benches and computers and gas lamps and that sort of thing. So it almost looks as though the outside has come inside. It's very beautifully designed. That's another view of it. This is a small town in western India called Fulton. That's the inside. A village in Bengal in India. That's what it looks like inside. It's very crowded there. So as you can see, there's some common elements in the structure. Big screen, ability to surround, to form groups, removable furniture. This is the remotest of the lot, the village in the Sundarbans, where the Ganges comes and meets the sea. This is the world's biggest river delta. There's nothing there. No electricity, no healthcare, no schooling. Snakes, Bengal tigers, mosquitoes and children. So I built one of those. They're very expensive to build, but I managed to do it. It's solar powered, and this is what it looks like inside. The internet is very intermittent, very faulty. Equipment breaks down all the time. So this is what it looks like when there is no internet. And if you look at the next one, this is what it looks like when there is internet. Even in that terribly disorganized, technically disorganized place, the progress is absolutely dramatic. Except for the mothers. The mothers still insist that the children are not doing enough homework. This is the biggest we have, another village in India. It's a 40-seater. In the meanwhile, what happened was that teachers started implementing souls all around the world. Because in my TED lecture, I had said that you don't have to wait for me. The principle is very simple. It's not even expensive. A few computers, some glass, nice paint, and that's it. You make it, and you write to me about how it works, if you see any problems with it. So it just it went viral, and it went all across the world. So I lost track of how many. The whole of southern Australia, from Perth to Melbourne, all over Canada, Colombia. The government has just announced 1,000 schools in the cloud inside their public libraries. Guatemala, Mexico, and you'll be surprised, the United States, which has among the world's most rigid education systems. But even their teachers have experimented. So what are the current results? Reading comprehension increases rapidly. I hadn't expected that, but it's kind of obvious that when they're searching on the internet doesn't know that they're children. So it throws everything it has at them. The children don't know what they're supposed to read and what they're not supposed to read. So they read everything. Comprehension seems to rise to adult levels in a matter of weeks, in groups. And this is something I'll leave in your mind because I think it's a fascinating subject, that reading is always considered an individual activity. And I used to think that maybe that's how it is, but I think reading is individual because of the form factor of the printed matter. It's because of technology. Books cannot be read by more than one person at a time, but screens can. If you experiment with group-based reading, you will find that the reading level of your class is several years ahead of where you thought it was, if they can read in groups. You can test it, it's amazing to watch. Just go back a second. Internet skills improve rapidly, aspirations change, as you saw in Jaya, that that girl's not going to be a maid servant, no way. So teachers change, I found. If there is a school in the cloud inside your school, you don't have to do much. The teachers change anyway because they can see what's happening in there and they start experimenting with it. I have a hilarious example of a really old-fashioned English teacher in one of the schools, and she had booked the room. They have a booking system. I said, wow, she has booked a room. What's she going to do? Next day I get an email from one of the students. So all the students know me. The email says, Mrs. So-and-so was teaching inside the school in the cloud. Will you tell us, will you tell her, or will we? So I said, just relax, okay, don't do anything. But anyway, it's fun. It needs total support from the school principal. So in this case, I told the principal went and said, okay, I'll explain to her. She's very old-fashioned. So I'll have to explain that it's a different thing. Anyhow, so it needs that support, constant support from the school principals. The three facilities that I have which are not inside schools, they are stumbling. The community doesn't understand them. I don't know who will pay for it once my money runs out. The ones that are inside schools, within 1 year the school says, I'll keep this going forever. Whether the system changes or not, it's just too good not to be there. One of the school principals described it as that if I can have a playground outside, this is the playground of the mind. And I cannot not have it. I'm also working with what was one of our questions earlier. Preliminary work shows that FE, FE stands for job-oriented courses, skill-oriented courses.